Hello, dear friends. Dear friends, once again I am back with a beautiful sonnet from William Shakespeare, that is sonnet number 5th. That is sonnet number 5. Like sonnet number first, sonnet number second, sonnet number third, from first to 17, this sonnet is also called a procreation sonnet. Why? Because in this very sonnet, also William Shakespeare is seen indirectly, you can say, advising his friend Mr. WH to settle down in life, to get married to a beautiful woman and multiply, means produce children. Because by doing this, he'll succeed in preserving his beauty, his outstanding physical features. Why? Because his children will not somehow, definitely look like him. So they will keep alive, they will continue the legacy of that good look the friend of William Shakespeare at present possesses. So now let's look at this beautiful sonnet, that is the part of the fair youth sonnets, from sonnet number 1st to sonnet number 126. You all of know that Shakespeare's sonnets are actually divided into four parts. Three quatrains, a stanza of 4 lines, and a couplet, a 2 line, you can say, stanza. The rhyme scheme of Shakespearean or English sonnet: AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, GG. The just meter used in Shakespearean sonnet: iambic pentameter. Iambic pentameter, pent 5. Iambs are just a pattern of unstressed and stressed syllable. So now let's look at this beautiful sonnet of William Shakespeare, in which he is painting time as preserver or producer and destroyer as well, just as Shelley's what? West wind is described or painted by Shelley as a destroyer and a preserver in his beautiful lyric, beautiful ode to the west wind. So let's look at the text. The hours with gentle work did frame. So, see, the hours. Hours here stand for time. Remember, the hours with the gentle work, with all gentility, means the hours means how the time frame in shape. He says that how the time shapes a beautiful thing like a flower. The time shapes something with a lot of gentility, with a lot of love and care. In the same manner, The hours means the time. Shaped means framed the external physical feature of his friend. So his friend was produced or shaped with all gentility and love and care by the time. But a time comes when the time destroys that beautiful object it created, it shaped, it framed. So he says that how the time produced the external frame, the body of his friend, with great love and care and gentility. But a time will come when that time will destroy that object that it framed, it shaped, it created with great gentility and love. What he says, see, the hours means time with the gentle work means with great gentility that frame shape the lovely gaze. See the lovely gaze. Here lovely gaze, remember this? Gaze here does not stand for a stare. Here lovely gaze stands for some beautiful object. Something that is beautiful. That frame, that was shaped by the time. What? Where? Every eye, beautiful example of synecdoche. I here stand for human. Doth. So see how with doth dwell, rest means see. So he says that the beauty of his friend was created, was framed and shaped by the time with great gentility, with great love and care. And now the beauty of his friend draws the attention of almost all the eyes, all the people. If any person goes past his friend, the eyes of that person definitely rest for a moment on the outstanding physical feature of his own friend. Lovely gaze, the beauty of his own, the beauty of his friend. Why? Because he is outstandingly good looking, so good looking that there are no eyes in the world that cannot 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 avoid but to see the beauty of his own friend. Why? Because he's so outstandingly good looking. So he says that in the first two lines, see how beautifully the time is personified. Why? Because he says it is the time that produces, that frames, that shaped the beauty, that shaped the body of his own friend with love and care and with great just gentility. And the time made his friend so beautiful that whoever goes past his friend or whoever sees his friend fixes his eyes, feeds his eyes on the beauty of his own friend. But that same time will destroy. The time that created, that same time one day will become tyrant, become a very cruel kind of person, and by being very cruel, destroy that beautiful object that it produced, that the time produced. What he says. So see, in the first line, beautiful, the first line, beautiful example of personification, because time is just personified as a being producing or shaping or creating something beautiful. See, the lovely gaze, beautiful example of, you see, just a metaphor, just because lovely gaze here, and sorry, beautiful example of just metonymy also. Why? Because here, lovely gaze stands for, lovely gaze just is the substitute for some beautiful object, some beautiful body, some beautiful thing. So metonymy. Further here, every I means every human being, every person. So part for the whole for the part. So here synecdoche. So how in the first two lines, how in the first two lines time is personified and time is described as a creator, creating creating the beauty, creating the body of his friend, creating so many beautiful things in the world, and that same time will play tyrant, that same time will play havoc, will destroy. Time is straightway called tyrant, again metaphor. Beautiful use of metaphor, because time is a straightway called metaphor. And if time is called tyrant, it means time is again personified. And he says, and sorry, will pay the, not here pay, remember my dear friends, this is not pay, this will play. Will play the tyrants to the very same, that lovely gaze, that beautiful object that it shaped and framed. That beautiful object will be destroyed. Time will become cruel at a time like a tyrant and destroy that beautiful body it cast. So hope my dear friends, first three lines are absolutely clear, and now see the next line. And that unfair, that means time. Unfair here used as verb, not as adjective. Remember that. Why? Because here unfair stands for depriving. Depriving, taking away that, taking away the beauty of that beautiful object it just shaped, it framed. And he says, and that means time unfair deprive, which fairly doth excel, which fairly doth excel, doth or just doth excel, or doth excel means hold. And how time just takes away the beauty of that beautiful object it cast, it framed, it shaped. And that unfair which fairly doth excel hold, fairly that beauty which fairly doth excel means hold. So, my dear friends, I think the first just a quatrain of the poem is absolutely clear. Why? Because in the first quatrain of the poem, William Shakespeare, or the just lyrical voice of the poem, just paints time as a creator and a destroyer as well. First of all, in the first two lines, the lyrical voice describes time, personifies time, and says that time just creates or shapes that lovely gaze that draws the attention of thousands of eyes. In the next two lines, last two lines of the first quatrain, he says that how that time becomes tyrant and destroys that beautiful object it created or it shaped and deprived, bereft the beauty from that beautiful object in the later years. So hope the first just a quatrain is absolutely clear. One thing you will also notice that the first line ends without punctuation, second line ends without punctuation, third line ends without punctuation. The first, second, third line ends without punctuation. Just if possible, make a cross check. If possible, make a cross check, and if the first line ends without punctuation, second without punctuation, then runs on line means ingement. Figure of speech is also used. Now let's look at the second quatrain of this beautiful poem, in beautiful sonnet in which Shakespeare is trying to compare the different human stages to the different with the different or with just with the different seasons of the nature, like for example summer, the young age, the youth age. Summer season is the youth age. The youth age is compared or is associated with the summer. Why? Because summer is a pleasant, beautiful season for the English. Summer stands for beauty. Summer stands for youth. Summer stands for loveliness. Summer stands for life. But how this summer leads to the how this summer just how sorry how this winter how the winter sorry how this time leads very soon summer to the winter, and leading summer to the winter, the time will destroy the summer, means the time will destroy the beauty of a beautiful person, beauty of a young handsome man. Now see in the second just quatrain, for never resting time. Again, very good example of personification. Time again is personified as someone, some living being that never does stop, that never does rest, and moves on and on and on non-stop, and leads the summer to its dark wintry bed, where it destroys, just like in Ode to the West Wind. The wind just carries the dead leaves to their dark wintry bed and destroy them. In the same manner, the time leads summer to its dark wintry bed, and there it destroys the summer forever, mean destroys a young man, destroys that beautiful object or beautiful body that it shaped and cast. So he says that for never resting time leads summer on to hideous winter, hideous, ugly, horrible, and confounds, destroys. Him means summer, means that handsome, good-looking body there in winter. So he says that the time that never stops, the clock that never stops, takes the summer away from its own beauty, away from its own glory, away from its own productivity, to that dark wintry bed of winter, and destroys the summer there forever, or deprives the vitality, the force, the life, the beauty of the summer. To hideous winter, and confounds him there. Sap that force, that vitality, that sustains the plants. The plants have a sap, a kind of a juice in their stem that that hold them, that allow them to stand, that allow them to be young. But when the winter comes, with the winter comes the frost, with the winter comes the snow. And what does the snow what does the snow and what do the snow and frost at last do? The snow cover, the frost cover each and every beautiful just elements of the nature, like the plants with the flowers, trees with the fruits and their green lusty leaves, and destroy them in the same manner. In the same manner, a time comes when a young man, slowly but surely, just moves in the direction of his old age. And in the old age deprives the strength, the vitality, the good look, the beauty of that person, deprives that person of all the vitality, all the beauty, and all the strength, just as the time does with the summer. Same the time does with the human. Just as this time leads the summer to the winter, where summer dies, in the same manner the time just leads the young man to his old age, and there the time deprives the man of his strength, his good look, his vitality and force, and leaves him or her dead. So see, sap checked with frost and lusty leaves quite gone. So what happens to the just leaves, to the lush green leaves of the just plants and trees in the winter? They lose their lust. They lose their just greenery. They fall down from the branches. So beauty oversnowed. So see how beauty of the nature is what? Covered by the snow. How the snowfall covers the beauty of the nature and barrenness everywhere. And what is left? Only emptiness, barrenness, emptiness. What happens to those leaves, sorry, to those plants and trees that lose their leaves? They become absolutely bare. They are no longer beautiful at all. They do not have a strength and vitality in them at all. Same happens to a man in the old age. That time that produces them, that time destroys them. That time that bestows upon the men the beauty, the strength, the stamina, that same time deprives them of all. Same happens there in the nature. So see here we just here the second quatrain of the poem ends, and in the second quatrain of this just a poem, now the just the old age of the man is compared with the winter, just as the summer is led by the time to the winter, where the summer loses its strength, its beauty, its loveliness, its vitality. In the same manner, when a young man becomes old, the time leads a young man to his old age. The time deprives him of his strength, stamina, and that human life at last dies after losing all the vitality and all the force. So now let's look at the third, means last quatrain of this poem. Then were not, now he says, now he again indirectly, just now he wants. So see, first two stanza or the second stanza, very much pessimistic, you can say. Why? Because the poet has, the speaker or the lyrical voice of the poem has only spoken about the spoken about spoken about all bad things, like spoken about the ugliness, spoken about this loss of strength, loss of beauty, loss of even life, that is full of pessimism. Maybe just William Shakespeare here somehow just tries to terrify his friend so that he may get himself ready soon as possible for marriage and for the procreation, for producing children. That's why in the second stanza he has painted nature with all the gray shades. He has described the human life, the old age, in a such a horrible manner that his friend may get scared and ends up settling down in life and producing children. Now see what he says in the third quatrain of the poem. And in the third quatrain of the poem, the poet speaks all good. Why? Because he speaks about that process through which the beauty of the summer is preserved in the form of perfume that is put inside a small bottle. Though in the distillation process, the external form, the body of the flower is destroyed, but the essence of the flower, the smell of the flower is preserved forever. In the same manner, here he wants to advise his friend that he should marry, not he should, he must marry and settle down and produce children who will his who will who will be his photocopy, Xerox copy. Why? Because after a certain time he will hit his old age, lose all his vitality, his good look, but his children will continue the legacy of that beauty he possessed. And in this way, his beauty will be preserved, his good look will be preserved, just like through the distillation process, the beauty of the summer is preserved. In the same manner, he will preserve his beauty. So he says, what? Then were not summer's distillation left, a liquid prisoner perfume, pent in walls of glassy, again, just you can say metaphor, just voile is straightway called walls of glass. Instead of saying voile, he calls walls of glass, means again just a metaphor, a liquid prisoner. He's calling the just a liquid prisoner. Again, you can say metaphor, very good example of metaphor. He says, then were not summer's distillation left. He says, if the essence of the flower had not been preserved through the distillation process, would the essence of the flower would have been preserved? No. So if in the same manner, if his friend is not going to settle down, beget children, his good look will not be preserved. His beauty will die with him, just as the beauty of the summer would have died with the death of the summer. If the beauty of the summer means the essence of the flowers of the summer had not been preserved in the form of perfume through the distillation process. So he says, beauty's effect means the effect of the beauty, the impact of the beauty, the force of the beauty with the beauty were bereft. So he says, if the beauty of the summer had not been preserved through distillation process, the impact of the beauty, the effect of the beauty, the force of the beauty with the beauty would have been just deprived of its beauty. Beauty would not be able to hold its beauty. Beauty's effect with beauty were bereft. Nor, see, beautiful example of just light tease, two just negatives giving a positive sense, making a positive sense, nor no remembrance what it was. So he says that if the beauty of the summer had not been preserved through distillation process, no doubt at all, in that distillation process, the external just a external, just a frame or external feature or the body of the flower is destroyed, but the essence is preserved. If it had not been done, what would have happened? The summer, the beauty of the summer would have died with the summer and would have been forgotten forever. Same will be the fate to the good look of his friend if he does not get settled and produce children. So he says, nor it nor no remembrance was what it was. So nobody going to remember. But flowers distilled. So those flowers, the essence of which what preserved through distillation, though they with the winter meet, though they will be destroyed in the winter will destroy them, but the winter will not be able to destroy their essence. Why? Because the essence is already preserved through distillation process and properly just capped in the just walls of glass. Lease means loose, but their show their body. Their substance means the essence, still lips sweet, meat. So he says that just as we just preserve the essence of the flower of the summer season through distillation process, in the same manner, in the same manner, his friend can preserve his good look, his beauty. What he needs to do, all he needs to do is to get settled in life, means to marry and produce children. If he is going to marry and produce children, he will succeed in preserving his beauty. If he's not going to get married and settle down, he will die, and with his death, his beauty will die. So, hope, my dear friends, this beautiful sonnet of William Shakespeare would have become absolutely clear to you. Provided that you find some complication, do let me know, dear friends.